In our first story today, with the government set to implement salary reviews this year, the Minister for Finance, Honourable Neil Reichenberg, has outlined the expected impact on the national budget. The minister indicated that the public sector wage bill could reach approximately 1 billion emalangeni next year. Speaking during the ministry's Finance in Focus program, the Honourable Minister further explained the measures government will undertake to accommodate the salary review as well as the strategies already implemented to contain and reduce the wage bill.
This year's budget is going to be impacted, definitely meaning that we're going to have an over-expenditure on the wage bill front. So we are now looking at where can we make cuts in government to try to really not have the whole budget go over at the end of the year. So we're trying to make cuts to fit in the salary review that was done this year. Next year is going to be even tougher because the wage bill is going up from more or less 800 million to more or less 1 billion. And so next year, even though we're probably going to have if you look at this year's expenditure was about 32.6 is more or less this year's expenditure. Next year is probably going to go up at probably about 2.5 around there billion, 2.5 to 3 billion, we hope. Once we get there, we'll know all the truth. And it's meaning that the bulk of that will now be utilized for the salary review exercise, meaning there's not going to be much left next year for anything else to spend on as a government. But at least it means that we continue. We've now done the review, which was long overdue, and we're going to have to try and make sure that we can afford it as government going forward. But at the same time, even though there might be expenditure cuts, I will be fine as government. We're not going to necessarily load more money for salary review. It just means that the year that's coming, we don't have an increase in the budget for other things. As you know, we've been trying to push the capital budget up aggressively and do certain things for growth. It means next year we won't be able to do those kind of things. But at least it means what we have in the budget, we shouldn't have to cut too badly. But there is inflation, meaning that there will be pressure next year in next year's budget. There's going to be a lot of pressure in next year's budget because of the salary review exercise. But again, I think big picture wise, we must keep in mind as a country, 7 years ago, our wage bill to total expenditure, we were the second worst in the world. There's only one country worse than us, but our wage bill was 42% of our total expenditure. So which means that of all the money you have, you were spending 42% on wages, civil servant wages. Over the last 7 years, that's come down to 32%. So we've actually done very well over the last 7 years to actually try to bring that as a percentage down. Obviously now causing a lot of the pressure which we're under now, hence this review was necessary and due. But at the same time now, this review is going to take us to more or less a 36%. So we're not going all the way back to 42%, we're going back to 36%. At the same time, knowing we actually want to get to about 25%. So again, over the years coming, we're going to have to be tight again and try and review who's in the civil servants. Can we possibly even try and reduce numbers? We'll see what we can do as government to try to bring that into the right balance. We delivering good services to the nation, but at the same time paying people what is due and making sure that you're giving them the respect that they need on the employment front. And so over the years, we'll continue to look at that and see what we can do to bring that more and more in line with the norm where we need to be.
All right, that was Minister Neil Reichenberg on some of the projections that they have as the Ministry of Finance. We'll go for a break now. We have our discussion after the break.